I would like to welcome you to this meditation of the subtle art of detachment. For this meditation, I would like for you to get into a place where you feel comfortable. You could be laying, you could be sitting, you could be standing. It doesn't matter. As long as you can take this time out to really gather the information you need to help you learn to let go. I'm going to give you a minute or so here to find that place. We're going to do a quick body scan from the top of the head down to our feet, allowing our forehead to relax, our eyebrows to sit gently on our face, moving down to the tip of our nose, feeling the weight and the pressure moving down our face, down our cheekbones to our jaw, relaxing our jaw, down to our neck, visually pushing down any pressure you may have in your shoulders, wiggling them into place if you need to. Moving down your arms to your wrists, allowing them to feel nice and heavy. You can allow your palms to face up or face down, gently placing your hands in your lap if you'd like. Moving down the base of our spine, really elongating our spine, nice and straight, but relaxing into our hips. Kind of move your hips into a place of comfort, a place of balance. Moving down your legs, allowing your legs to get nice and heavy, to your knees, down your legs, to your feet and ankles. Moving them back and forth if you need to release any kind of resistance you have in your feet, through your toes. I want you to take in some nice deep breaths, allowing your body to relax more with ease. So I'm going to start by explaining what attachment means. Attachment is giving your attention, your energy, emotions, or thoughts to something outside of yourself. When you attach yourself to something, someone, or a place of importance above yourself, what you are doing is you are giving your power and your control away to the possibility of loss. When the thought of loss comes up as humans, we tend to allow ourselves to go down the path of fear. Fear, meaning false evidence appearing real, is one of those lower vibrations, such as worry, that can take us down a path of lower vibrational energy that allows us to feel depressed, stuck, or anxious. And when we're in those energies, that true energy is loss of control. This is why it is so important to detach from anything outside of yourself, because when you do, you are allowing others to control you, your thoughts, your emotions. But what we know and what we realize is that we are the only ones who are in control of ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions, and our life. So like Simone Weil said, attachment is the great fabrication of illusions. Reality can be obtained only by someone who detaches. So just like the lotus is in the pond with the water, the branches, the other critters, the other flowers, the other trees, the other foliage in the pond, but it is not the pond. The lotus is the perfect design of the human existence. This is the perfect demonstration of detachment. Because like the lotus sits alone. The lotus moves with the tides of the water. It wrestles with the trees and the branches, but it sits on its own. It blossoms, it flourishes. All the challenges that the lotus goes through from underneath, and or for humans, what's within and around, we still have the opportunity to blossom and bloom, even in the most muckiest of muck conditions. And like the flower, we always have the opportunity to be beautiful in all the destruction and dirtiness of the world. So just like Osho said, remain in the world, act in the world, do whatsoever is needful, and yet remain transcendental, aloof, detached, a lotus flower in the pond. A good way to determine your attachments, or whether or not you are attached to any person, place, or thing, is to imagine being stripped of your life, of your work, of your deepest relationships, your friendships. Is there a core within you that is separate, detached, and at peace? If you were to let everything go and it was you and you alone, what would your life look like, and how would you feel? Are you constantly on a roller coaster ride based off of what happens in your life? Are you exhilarated because great things are happening at work? Or are you miserable because the last batch of orders didn't get delivered on time? Customers may have left a bad review. You may not have done well that day. Maybe a coworker or someone makes a comment. Are you constantly exhilarated because things are going well in your relationship? Or miserable because he or she suddenly stopped giving you enough time or attention? Letting these things that you feel passionate about dictate your mood, your energy, your levels of overall enthusiasm towards life is not a very healthy approach, as you are relying on something external, something that is not entirely under your control to dictate your life. The only difference between people who collapse after failure or loss and those who dust themselves off straight again away quickly, the latter is the practice of the art of detachment. So what exactly is the art of detachment? It's the art of withdrawing the desire from lesser things, letting them fall away so as to harness their power to reach the heights of what a human being can attain. Now, does that mean that you should not be attached or passionate or enjoy your life in the moment? Not at all. But when you allow those things to constantly dictate how you live your life, that is attachment. So while we can attach ourselves to many things, our work, our successes, other people, friends, relationships, what I want to talk about is the attachment from your own thoughts. As human beings, we can get caught up in our thoughts, that web of ideas, that web of illusion. So out of all forms of practicing detachment, it is most important for us to detach to the obsessive thinking patterns that we have. Those obsessive thinking patterns that tend to ruin our day, to ruin our energy. That is most important because as we're thinking, we are creating. So very few of us are able to take a step back, to exercise a certain amount of control, even over thoughts. It turns into a problem when we confuse our thoughts with feelings, and we end up taking actions out on impulse. Somehow we conclude that every thought needs to be acted upon, and that's not always necessarily true. Detaching from thoughts often practiced through meditation till it becomes a usual practice, allowing you to look at your thoughts as an outsider, letting them come and go without allowing yourself to feel too much about them. This allows you to practice a certain amount of detachment as you begin to see that not all thoughts are important. You realize that most of them are just clouding your head, and it will be best to free yourself from them. So detaching yourself from thoughts requires an understanding of the fact that our thoughts are just thoughts. They are not the ultimate truth or reality. You enter a state of mind in which you witness clearly and calmly, with goodwill, whatever you are seeing, you're hearing, thinking, enjoying, or suffering. You watch your problems, your fears, and your challenges as if you are not bound or preoccupied by them, by viewing them with calmness, more so as a witness. And with this practice, your turbulent thoughts and negative emotions will loosen their grip on your mind. They will not be able to drive you or distort your inner potential and well-being. Your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. So what we're going to do for this next portion of meditation is we're going to visualize and allow our thought to become a thing. And when we allow that thing to be created in our mind, we are going to learn to backtrack and release the energy and importance that we have put into that thought. Are you ready? I want you to take a couple of minutes and I want you to think of something that has importance to you. Something that you may fear of losing. Something that consumes your thoughts. Allows you to build this web of confusion, illusion, and attachment. And with bravery, belief, and trust, we are going to learn to let it go with faith. Now as you're finding that thing that consumes your mind, the thought, the memory, the fear, what we're going to do is called an emotional release. We're going to place all these memories or thoughts or feelings into an object. I want you to visualize the first object that comes to mind. It could be a ball, a sphere. It could be anything that you can visualize as a shape. Now, I want you to give this shape a color. With your eyes closed, visualize the first color that comes to mind and attach this color to the object. If this object had a smell, what would it smell like? Allow your senses to open. If it had a texture, something to the touch that you could feel on your fingertips, or even possibly a weight to it, what would that feel like for you? If it had a taste, what is the first thing you can think of as you taste on your tongue? Now that we have given this object substance, what we're going to do now for the next minute or so is we're going to put that memory and or thought, could be even the entire web of thinking, possibly a person, as much as you can, fill this object with any of those things that consume your mind. Now that this object is filled, we are going to release it out into the universe. We're going to release it with trust, knowing that the divine always has our back. The universe always has our back. So as we release it, I want you to think about the first idea that comes to your mind when you think of releasing or letting go. It can be as simple as a release of a balloon. It could be dropping it into the ocean. It could also be collapsing and or breaking the object in which you carry so much attachment to. But whatever it is, I'm going to give you a minute to find a way, your way, to release it. As you do this, you can say to yourself, I release you with pure trust and faith that what is meant for me will always find its way back to me, and what is not for me will simply drift away. So as you have practiced this art of detachment, know that you can do this as many times as you need to. Know that you can put your thoughts into categories. You can put these categories into an object and you can release them. Know that if these things continue to burden your mind, you can find other means of release. But for your emotions, this can be one of the most beneficial ways. So with trust and faith, I leave you with this practice of detachment. Namaste.